Houseplants on a Budget. Today the spotlight and sunlight is on my Monstera adansonii, Swiss cheese plant, monkey mouse plant. Hello, welcome back to Houseplants on a Budget. Today the spotlight and sunlight is on my Monstera adansonii. I've just learnt how to pronounce that. Adansonii. Adansonii. And following on from the video that I made 6 months ago where the poor plant was looking quite worse for wear because I chopped all of its leaves off. But look how beautiful and bushy it has come back. Very windy here in Suffolk today, so apologies if you can hear a lot of wind in the background. I took a lot of cuttings off of this plant because it looked like it was on its way out and dying. Here are some of the cuttings now. I think I've given one away as a gift. This is the first one that I took. That one's looking nice and big. So here's a look at the plant 6 months ago when I'd just taken the cuttings off of it and reduced it down to 2 leaves. Thinking back, perhaps I was being a bit hasty. Obviously, I managed to take quite a lot of cuttings off of it, so it couldn't have been doing that badly. But I do remember at the time that a lot of the leaves were turning yellow quite rapidly, and I thought perhaps I'd overwatered it and it had root rot. So I was quite convinced that the whole thing would soon die. So defending my decision, that's why I did what I did. Thankfully, with pleasing results, and the plant came back to life. Obviously, I could have lost the whole plant. So that was a look at the plant 6 months ago, and here it is now, looking much more bushy and healthy, thankfully. It's grown back really well from having majority of its leaves cut off and being cut down to just 2 leaves. You can see it's still growing new growth on it. So I managed to take 7 propagations from it and still retain the original plant, which I'm really pleased with because I didn't want to lose it. So now this plant is a year old. And in the last few months I've tried to refine its care and make sure that it does get plenty of sunlight. Thankfully you can see we do get a lot of light in this window here. It's a south-facing window, so even in the winter it was having some light come in. And I still kept feeding it through the winter as well, once a month. I was using this Westland houseplant feed. It's the kind that you dose into the cap and then add that to the water. So I will revert to feeding it every couple of weeks now. And I did, as I say, feed it once a month in the winter. Some of these leaves are getting really quite large now. I was hoping originally when I bought this that it would be more of a trailing plant, but I realise now that it's more of a climbing plant, so perhaps I might add a stick in there for it to climb up. Also, there is some good spots on it if I wanted to propagate any more where I could take some cuttings, such as in there. I could take off that whole piece and grow another good plant. But I think I'm going to keep it as it is and just let it grow larger and become more impressive. It's nice that I have the extra ones from it here. One thing that I have noticed on it recently, and perhaps some informed people could weigh in with what this is some residue on the leaves. This white residue. Sure if this might be some kind of pest infestation, hopefully not. And on the back of some of the leaves I've seen really tiny little marks that sometimes move. There we go, there's something very tiny that lives on my plant. Please forgive my dry hands. Now what are these tiny creatures? perhaps you might have some suggestions about what that could have been. I think perhaps spider mite, but there is only a couple of them. The plant's by no means infested with them. Thankfully, the majority of the leaves are completely clear of anything like that. So it's just something that I'll keep an eye on, and if it gets out of control, then I'll look at how to treat it. But I don't really like to apply too many harsh chemicals to my plants. You'll notice on some of them around the soil in the winter time, I was putting cinnamon on them, and that was to try and deter the fungus gnats, and I think it did help with that. Also, I do let house spiders and things still live around the plants, and I think that they help with controlling certain things like flies and gnats. So if there was a more natural remedy to treat mites and different things that plants might get, then I'm always keen to hear about those sorts of solutions as well. So farewell from me and the adansonii family. As ever, if you have any tips that you might like to share about how to best care for them, please feel free to comment below. I always like to read the comments, see where people are commenting from around the world, and also if you've got your own channel that you'd like to mention, please do. I'm also posting occasionally on Instagram under the same name, which is Houseplants on a Budget. Mentioning budgets, this plant was originally £9.99 from the local garden centre, so it's proving good value for money since it has survived and produced all these offspring. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!